Hey everybody, welcome back to Conscientious Omnivore. I'm going to show you guys a hopefully tasty treat today. It's going to be a nice hearty meal, stuffed peppers. And yeah, I've always loved stuffed peppers back when I was eating meat, and I think this is a really good substitute for that. It comes out really, pretty similar in texture and everything, and especially with the holidays coming up, this is a very traditional kind of thing in the Hungarian kitchen, stuffed peppers or stuffed cabbage. And I'm going to show you guys how to make that using all healthy, plant ingredients. So what we've got is I got my pressure cooker. I kind of picked out my peppers that I'm going to clean out. So I'm going to core them kind of as close as I can to the center here, so that I can even have some of these sides to hold in all the ingredients. Kind of pick them out so that it would actually fill the whole pressure cooker, so they wouldn't be like tipping over and moving around when it's bubbling. So that'll be kind of what we're shooting for, is to kind of fill it so they don't fly around. If you don't have a pressure cooker, that's fine. You can just use a regular pot. It'll just take you longer to cook everything. I'm going to have a few onions. I'll show you seasonings later. And what I've done is I just took like a regular, like a coffee mug or whatever, of barley, red lentils, and regular, like the brown lentils. I don't know if I can dig one up here, like one of these little guys here. I've got them soaking in this water, and a mug's worth of rice. So basically it's 4 parts. 1 part red lentils like this, 1 mug of the regular brown or whatever they are, green lentils, 1 thing of rice, and 1 thing of barley. So that's what we've got. That's going to be soaking in there. I'm going to clean up the peppers. I'm going to chop the onions, and then I'll show you guys the next steps. So I've cored out the peppers. You can see I tried to get kind of close to the center, and they pretty much fit in there perfectly. I am still just finishing soaking these, lentils and rice and barley. That's pretty much ready. I'm just going to rinse that out a couple times and then pour off the excess water. I got a few more pieces of garlic. I forgot to mention that, so I'm going to throw those in with the onions in a second. I'm just sauteing them, and I'm also sauteing the last little bits of peppers that I got from the center when I took out the core. And I'm using my no oil sauteing method. So what that is you just kind of stir them around a little bit, and when you start seeing them stick to the pan, you just throw a little splash of water, and it brings up all that good caramelly kind of goodness, and they brown up nicely just as if they were done in oil. You can see it in some of the other videos I've done, so I'm not going to show it again, but check out the other cooking videos if you are interested in the specifics. So I'm going to finish sauteing this. I'm going to get our spices ready, and then I'll show you guys the next step. Okay, so everything's ready to start mixing together. I've got the onions, bits of pepper, and the garlic sauteed up nicely. We got all our seasonings. We have this strained, and well, not really strained, I just poured off the water. So I rinsed it off a bunch of times and then poured off the water. You can see that everything's kind of puffed up a little bit, including the little lentils and the barley, which is going to be good because it helps it cook faster. If you didn't have time, don't worry about it. You just cook it for longer and it'll still be fun. And I'm getting to the seasonings in a little bit. First, I just want to say this is basically freshly ground using our coffee grinder, 2 spoonfuls each of chia seeds and flax seeds. So I just kind of throw them in there together, and both of these kind of serve as an egg replacer kind of thing. When you mix chia seeds or flax seeds with water, they get kind of this kind of like, I don't know, mushy, kind of sticky consistency, and it works really well as like a binding agent, almost like an egg replacer. And since we're not using any meat, obviously, we want everything to still kind of stick together and form into the nice little balls inside the peppers. So it's going to help kind of hold all this stuff together, which doesn't really clump, you know what I mean? And so yeah, basically that's going to be serving that purpose. And then here, what we've got is lots of paprika. We've got a bunch of fennel or caraway. Then we have some curry, which is really optional, but I just really like curry, and So does our whole family. So I put some curry in there. The bay leaves are not going to go in with the other stuff. They're going to just be thrown into the liquid. I'll show you guys that in a second. And then some black pepper, freshly ground, and a bunch of salt to taste. So what I'm going to do is, aside from these bay leaves, mix all this into here, stir it up, and then I'll show you guys how I put them into the peppers. So I've got everything mixed in here now, like I said, and you can see that it's definitely clumping together, but what you want to do now is just add a little bit of flour and potentially a little bit more water. We'll see if it's needed, but I'm going to start off with just like maybe 2 spoonfuls of flour and just kind of mix it in there. That'll also help everything kind of clump together and hopefully form good, you know, like balls in the peppers and not have to have them fall apart. So I'm going to mix this in and I'll show you it right after. Okay, so I've had to add a little bit more flour. I did a total of 8 spoonfuls. I was doing them 2 at a time. I kept stirring it in and just checking the consistency as I went. What you want is something that will form into a nice little ball. See how it's like sticking to the spoon? This will definitely you know, work out so that it's not going to fall apart. It's like clumping together. So this should be good. This is what you want. And I'll show you guys once I've got the peppers loaded. Okay, so the peppers are all loaded up, and I actually have a bunch of, you know, the stuffing still left. So, I mean, if you had more peppers, I suppose you could do another row. I don't, so I'm just going to take these, form them into little balls, and I'm going to put them here at the top. Hopefully they stay together. If not, they'll just kind of, you know, cook up and fall apart in the liquid. That's fine too. I think it'll still taste fine. But anyway, I'm gonna throw the balls in here, and then I'm gonna fill it up to water where it just covers maybe, you know, the peppers and a little bit more, and then we are gonna put the bay leaves in, and I'll show that to you in a second. Everything's ready to go now, and we're gonna cover this, seal up the pressure cooker, and put it on medium heat. If you're not familiar with the pressure cooker, make sure you read, you know, the instructions of whatever one you get. They all have slightly different mechanisms for locking it and making sure that it's sealed. So yeah, just be careful with that. If you're not comfortable, don't use a pressure cooker. I highly recommend them, though. They cut down on a lot of cooking time, and yeah, it really helps you save energy and money, as well as, yeah, just basically like time, which is, I think, the most important thing. And then yeah, what you need to do is, once the pressure has come up, you'll see a little bit of steam coming out. That's where you start your timer. And for something like this, you know, we're going to have to give it at least a good 20 minutes, maybe even a little more, because I'm trying to think, like, I mean, the barley and the lentils are a little bit tough as well. So I would say I'm going to leave it under pressure for at least, you know, 22, 23 minutes. And then I'll probably stop it and just leave it there. I have an electric stovetop, so you know, it stays hot for quite a while after, and then I'll just wait for the pressure to come down, and I'll show you guys after. Okay, so we've reached pressure, and we'll start the timer from here. So I'm going to give it like 23 minutes, and then we'll just turn it off and leave it on there and let it cool. Once the pressure drops, this little yellow button drops back in, and I know it's safe to open. Each pressure cooker has its own kind of mechanism, so just be sure you know which one you have. And don't try to open it when it's under pressure, because you could get really severely burned. So that's just a note of caution. Okay, pressure's dropped. We can open it up. Take a look. There they are. Looks pretty good. Some of the balls that were, you know, not in the peppers have definitely fallen apart, but everything looks cooked pretty thoroughly. You got the lentils, the rice, the barley, everything looks good. And now all that I'm going to do is basically open up a little box of tomato paste, and I'm going to add this, bring it to a boil, and then leave it boiling for like about a minute, then turn it off, and that's it. I'll show it to you in a second. Just going to let it simmer for a little bit, and we're done. And then I'll show you guys what it looks like in a bowl. And there's the finished product. So yeah, it looks pretty good. The pepper got a little bit kind of you know, broken apart. Probably cooked a little bit too long, but anyway, I think it looks really good. The shape is good. Let's dig in and take a look. Looks good. I'm gonna give this a shot and let you guys know what it tastes like. That is really great. Came out awesome. This is only the third time I've made this. So, yeah, I think this is the best one by far. It's got a good kind of meaty texture. Obviously, the lentils help, but the barley, I think, is a key ingredient. If you just did the rice, it wouldn't quite have that like nice texture. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. It's got a lot of good nutrition in here. I'm going to post some stuff about the various ingredients and the various health benefits of them. But yeah, I mean, barley's fantastic. You got obviously lots of minerals and vitamins in there. Lots of great protein in the lentils. You have great nutrition of the tomato paste, the peppers, also the chia seeds and the flax seeds. Obviously, you got your omega-3 fatty acids in there. So yeah, it's just a great great meal. Lots of good carbs from the rice and the barley as well. Really hearty, perfect for a cold winter, and nice for a holiday treat. It's definitely one of the more time-consuming things I've done for the for the videos here, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And yeah, remember to subscribe if you enjoyed that, and share it with your friends. Thanks.